While the 23-24 URC season is still in its infancy, this matchup might just give us an early taste of the playoffs. Congratulations to Munster on a hard-fought win that sees them stay in the top 8 for another week. Let's start with each team's approach to the game. For the Stormers, it was about getting a territorial advantage and pushing Munster back as much as possible. They also looked to keep the contest physical in nature, confronting the Munster pack whenever they could. This does not mean that the Stormers did not look to attack, however. They also looked to strike wide when they felt that enough defenders were sucked in. For Munster, the approach was very different. They wanted to overwhelm the Stormers and constantly looked to play with speed and intensity. They also had a more patient approach on defense. All of this was tied together with a high ball in play to tire out their opponents. Munster used a 1-3-3-1 formation with a high amount of speed and control. They ran their attacking shape of a 9 instead of the first or second receivers. Additionally, they did not look to offload within their pods as much. This meant that they could string together more phases overall and keep the ball in play for longer periods of time. Notice how they constantly tried to exploit the spaces to improve ruck speed and overwhelm the defense. The Stormers' attacking shape is a more standard 1-3-2-2 formation. As mentioned previously, they wanted to keep it physical in their pods. Like Munster, they also refrained from using too many offloads. However, they had a high willingness to take contact and subsequently create space out wide. From a kicking perspective, these teams had different approaches. As mentioned, the Stormers wanted to drive Munster back into their own half. This came in the form of a bunch of wipers kicks, meaning kicks that are sent away from the forwards, and deep box kicks with a focus on length rather than height. The wipers kicks had the added benefit of slowing the game down when they went out. For Munster, the approach were contestables. While they didn't kick as much, they still put the ball up with the intention of adding pressure. The set pieces were interesting in dictating the flow of the game. The Stormers were more dominant in the scrum, while Munster had a slightly better line-out. Overall, however, the Stormers came away on top in this area. They had a 100% scrum success rate and had 4 scrum penalties, most of them coming in the second half. This gave them platforms to take back momentum by moving up the field. Munster's defense was a big part of the game, and ultimately denied the Stormers any points. Their defending was patient, allowing the Stormers to string together more phases, but also increasing the chance for mistakes. They also rarely competed on the ground, choosing to reinforce their defensive lines and only committing in certain key moments. This was a gritty match in every sense of the word. While there wasn't a ton of flair and tries, we can appreciate the contest, which was tight until the very last minute. After a disappointing previous week against Ulster, Munster came away with a good win against a strong side. For the Stormers, there's one more game on tour to rectify things before they return home. Thank you for watching. If you like this video, then please consider liking and subscribing, as it helps the channel a lot. You can also find me on Twitter, which I'll link in the description.